Hello, Core 21. Thank you for joining us in this Ask Me Anything session for incoming international students to the Communication Leadership Program. First of all, welcome to Comm Lead. I guess many of you have already participated in some events hosted by Comm Lead, like the one for We Communications internship program yesterday, to kind of get an idea of what your life will be like. As the full quarter is approaching, I would not be surprised if some of you have bought your tickets and started packing. So together, Liyao and the staff team wanted to initiate this virtual event to offer our help as you're about to face excitement, but also in some uncertainties. My name is Lexi Zhang, cohort 20 in the MCDM track. I'll be assisting in this event today. I started my complete study remotely from China from January this year. So I'm somehow still a bit new to part of the program. So I'm so lucky to be joined by Liyao and our amazing panelists today. To let you know, our event is being recorded. So you as well as those unable to join us here today can access the video later. Over the next hour, the panelists will share their grad school experience and answer the questions you submitted through our online form. And then we'll take as many of your questions as you have for us within the time limit. Before we get started, I'd like to introduce you to the panelists today. So first, our stellar students and alumni. I'll let them briefly introduce themselves. And we'll start with Tongtong.
Thank you, Liyao. So hello, everyone. My name is Tongtong. I'm from cohort 18, MCDM. I'm currently in Seattle working at SB Concur as a digital marketing manager. And welcome, join Comm Lead. And I'm one of the alumni fellows this year. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions. I will hand over to
Thanks, Tongtong.
or Evelyne.
Hello, I am Evelyne. I am from cohort 19 MCDM track. Originally from Taiwan. I moved to Seattle 2 years ago for the Comm Lead program. Throughout my Comm Lead journey, I found out my career interest in content strategy. So after graduated, I joined Remitly as a content associate, working on their organic social media channels and SEO optimized content. I am also one of the alumni fellows this year. Sorry about that, 1 second. Can you guys hear me clearly now? Okay, so I am also one of the alumni fellows this year. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me and Tongtong. Thank you. Welcome to Comm Lead.
Thank you, Evelyne. Let's pass it to Kanhaiya.
Hi. Hello, everyone. My name is Kanhaiya. I generally go by the name Kan. I'm from cohort 18. I did my MCDM track, and I'm originally from Mumbai, India. Been working here as a digital marketing manager for a niche tech firm known as Digital Arts and Sciences. And been about 3 years since I've been in Seattle. And I welcome you all to this wonderful program.
Thank you, Kanhaiya. Thank you for being here. Last but not least, Valtina.
Hi, everyone. This is Valtina. I'm from cohort 20 MCDM track. I am currently work as a talent acquisition HR intern at Tencent America in California. And I am originally from Nanjing, China. And I received my bachelor's degree in public relations and psychology from Syracuse University back in 2019. Yeah, so feel free to ask me about anything about remote study experiences, international student lives, and job huntings.
Yeah, cool. Thank you, Valtina. Thank you all. And we're so lucky to have you here. And then our incredible staff member, head of outreach, Liyao Zhao. Hi, Liyao. Do you want to say hi to the students?
Thanks, Lexi. So hello, everyone. Welcome to our session today. I am Liyao, the head of outreach. So I support Comm Lead with our events, career development, as well as alumni engagement. So ask me any questions if you are hunting for job, internship, or even like some hourly positions at Comm Lead. So I'm happy to answer that. This is my fourth year in Seattle, and I was an international student about 10 years ago in the US. So happy to answer some international student challenge question as well. Thank you, Evelyne.
Awesome. Okay, so without further ado, let's look at the questions you've been asking. We've kind of categorized them into three aspects, and we'll start with academic questions. So the first question was about workload. So one student asked, how tense is it when taking courses in the first quarter? So for this question, Evelyne and Valtina will share their personal experiences. Evelyne, do you want to go first?
Yeah, absolutely. So for my personal experience for the first quarter, it was in person. So it was a little bit challenging for me because there's life changes. I moved from Taiwan and I have to meet new people at the same time, and also had to conquer the language barrier. I was a little bit shy in the beginning. I was afraid of speaking up or raise my hands during the class discussion. So I was always kind of intimidated by other people when they're sharing their experience. And after that, I started trying my best to organize my thoughts and then collect some ideas in mind first, and then try my best to participate in the class discussions. So I would say it was quite intense, but it's also a great way to push me to get out of my comfort zone and then also meet more people in Seattle and also in the Comm Lead program. So definitely worth it. And in-person experience, great. I got a lot of opportunities to meet people during First Fridays and other networking events. So I met a lot of people within Comm Lead and also in new jobs within a very short time. So it was very great experience.
Thanks, Evelyne.
So for my experiences before I joined UW Comm Lead program, I've already spent around roughly 5 years in the United States. So for me, the most difficult part is not about the workload, because for your information that international students only need to take more than 10 credits to keep your full-time status. And we usually, it's only 2 5-credit courses. That is not so harsh. And also for your first semester, because I think 501 has changed to 2-credit courses, which is a requirement for your first quarter. So it's only 3 courses. That is not really intense for me. But I think what is most different is that because Comm Lead only offer classes during weekday nights and weekends. So that is totally different from other programs that you have to get yourself prepared to be a full-time student, but only working during the nights and the weekends. So when I first joined the program, I kind of get lost during the weekday daytime, because I feel oh, I don't have a lot of things to do during the daytime. Well, during the night and weekends, well, usually I'm just chill out. I have to take classes. I have to have group discussions. So I think that's something you have to get yourself prepared. Find yourself something meaningful to do during this spare weekday daytimes, so that you can find a on-campus job, you can find an internship, or just find something meaningful for you to do. There is a lot of, I believe, great places and great things that you could explore in Seattle and also in other states in the Americas. So yeah, I think that's really important to get yourself prepared to spend those spare time is also really important and a lesson to learn for the first quarter.
Thank you, Tina. Great advice. Let's move on to the next question about class recommendations. What classes were most impactful or useful to your career? Alan?
Yeah, thank you. So for this answer, it suits more for my career. So it's different from what you're looking for, because I know a lot of people may be interested in videography, UX, or other nonprofit area. But for me, I was focusing more on content strategy. So I found the product content strategy classes taught by Katrina and Jane are most impactful for me when I was building my career here. And for both classes, they provide a lot of solid information and knowledge in product content strategy. They taught me how to audit content on the website and how to wireframe and then write down the proposal to propose to your manager or to your client if you are working in the agency setting. So for these two classes, they taught me very solid knowledge and also think about more the inclusive way when designing our product or just the user journey roadmap to make sure that our website or our products are accessible to everyone, not only for the regular users, but more like disabled people, for maybe vision impaired or any hearing impaired, so we can have the best equipped websites for everyone. So these two classes I found are most impactful. Even I apply a lot of things that I learned in classes into my actual work. So yeah.
Great, thank you, Evelyne. You made me want to register for those two classes just now. Okay, let's move on to the next one. English proficiency. Is there any problem, like any program can help international students to overcome language barriers and improve proficiency in English? Like any activities recommended? Discussions for Tongtong and Kanhaiya. Tongtong, do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. So I think first of all, as an international student, we should trust ourselves since we already made it. We've been through the application, personal statement, and we made it join the program. So I think not everyone may speak perfect English, but language is just a tool. And I also think the most easiest way, and also in the meantime, maybe the most difficult way, is to speak up in classroom settings. And I also think it's a good opportunity for you to practice, since all the instructors, professors, and all your schoolmates, they are very supportive and very open-minded, and you should be brave. And I always believe that classroom is the only place you can make mistake. There are more tolerance in the school settings. So definitely take the chance, speak up, especially in those larger classes. If there are hundreds of students in the classroom, just encourage yourself to speak up in front of hundreds of people. That will definitely help. And also at UW in general, there are some programs, for example, Five Youths is a nonprofit program, and they offer conversation group and also some language exchange opportunity. So basically they will match you with someone who also want to learn your native language, and then you can talk to them. And I'm not sure if they still have the virtual version, but if it's safe to have in-person engagement, they also have events at Hub. There are a group of people there, they have a specific topic for the whole afternoon, and then you can talk to the other students. And for writing, I think you have also have a lot of additional help on campus, like OWRC, Clue. They are all a writing center to help students who their second language is English. So you can definitely leverage those resources and improve your language proficiency.
Thank you, Tongtong. Kanhaiya, do you want to add something?
Sure. So yeah, I mean, I think Tongtong did a great job of highlighting most of the resources that are there on campus. I would like to relay a couple of those. The first one being that UW, especially the Comm Lead program, it's a very safe space. So don't hesitate to speak up whenever you have some thoughts that you want to share. Be comfortable. even if English is not your first language, there's no one who's going to judge you. In fact, if at all, there are people here who will encourage you much more. Besides that, apart from the resources that Tongtong mentioned, I'm sure that she's putting it in chat right now. I think that there are a couple of more things you can do. First is obviously try to talk to people who are not from your country, right? Because if you make friends only from people who are, from the same place, you fall into that habit of just talking to them in your native language. I think in order to break that, make sure you just, interact with people from outside, because then English is the only common medium of exchange in that case. The second is that all the professors encourage office hours. Take advantage of that, book office hour sessions with them, half an hour, 1 hour, whatever time they have. That will again, get you into the habit of talking to them in English, make you much more comfortable. And I mean, there's one thing that I really recommend to a lot of my friends, who didn't have English as their first language while growing up, was simply every morning taking a newspaper and reading it out loudly to yourself in front of the mirror. I think that's a wonderful exercise to do. I've had so many friends coming back and telling me that, it really helped them, and they were able to notice a great progression even within a single quarter. So I would say these are the only things besides the resources shared.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Tongtong and Kanhaiya, for those great recommendations. Okay, let's now move on to the next question about career-related questions. First is about on-campus job. So can international student apply for on-campus job in the first quarter and then apply for SSN, which is social security number? So Kanhaiya and Evelyne, do you want to share your experience with that?
Sure. So yes, international students can apply for the on-campus job in the first quarter. On-campus job typically allows you to work for about 20 hours, up to 20 hours, and not more than that, I believe. You can work for more than 20 hours in the breaks, during the breaks. And that's only on campus. Apart from on campus, there are some, I would say, like departments or certain bodies that are affiliated to the UW and to Comm Lead, but they might not be on campus, but they still qualify for an on-campus job. For that, you just need to, go to the International Student Services and take permission and do some extra paperwork. But for an on-campus job, you don't need to do any extra paperwork. You can take that up. And social security number is needed. For that, you need an offer letter or a letter of employment from wherever, you get a job. And then you take it to the ISS. The ISS again gives you some sort of document, which together along with certain other things like your address proof and your visa, basically a scan of your visa, you take that all to the Social Security's office, and they make sure that you get a card, because Social Security number is essential for you to get paid. So if your job is paying you, if it's a paid job, then make sure you get that done.
I guess one perk about having a social security number is that you can apply for other credit cards or any other potential applications in the United States. For example, if you're having a loan, student loan, anything, and having a social security number can help build your credit scores in the US. So in the future, if you need to apply for anything, it may be easier for banks and other people to check your financial background. And so for me, I found a job at a student cafeteria, and at the first quarter, I just wanted to get a social security number, and the process was very smooth and easy. Basically, the school will give you the offer letter, and you just need to use that and then also apply to ISS, and then they will help collect all the information you need to go to the Social Security office in downtown Seattle. And I just brought every documents with me and then go line up and then apply. And it only took me less than a month to receive my number. So I would say the process is very straightforward and simple. And after my cafeteria job, I found a job at School of Nursing as a video assistant. And then there I was able to practice my video editing skill, and then also get to know more people other than communication field to understand like different industries. So it was definitely a valuable experience. And after that, I also was working for Comm Lead, which Comm Lead has a lot of potential part-time jobs as well. And we usually don't have to work over 20 hours. So it's great for you to work on something else while you are in school, and then you also can build your professional skills. So I would definitely say if you have time and if you can handle the schoolwork in the first quarter, feel free to check out Comm Lead website or our newsletter, or also UW HR career page. I believe they have different openings and also on Handshake as well. So definitely check those positions out.
Yeah, thank you. Amazing sharing from Kanhaiya and Evelyne. So next question would be for Liyao about CPT eligibility. So the student were asking if we get CPT, are we only permitted to work while school is in session, or can the work be extended over the following break? The example they gave was, for example, if I start in fall 2021, can I work during the winter break as well? Will my work need to end by the end of fourth quarter?
Yeah, thanks, Lexi. I'm happy to answer this. So I would say typically for international students, you are not eligible for CPT until after 3 quarters. So that would be next summer. But if you did your undergraduate in the United States or have another master's degree in the United States, or either you have been enrolled full-time at a US college or university for 1 academic year, then you're eligible to apply for CPT. And once you're eligible, it is from the date forward. So across quarters and breaks. So that means, yes, you can definitely work during the winter break and also during the summer break. And I think as what Evelyne and Cam mentioned earlier, that if you're just applying for a job on campus, then you don't need to apply for a CPT. You can just start it right away when the quarter starts. And you can also continue to work during the quarter breaks. So I will put, oh, thank you, Lexi. So yeah, so Lexi just put the link with more details about employment options and rules come from ISS website. So I will put a link there as well. Thank you, Lexi.
No problem. Okay, then let's get the next question about internships. What does the timeline to find summer internship look like? Is it true that most companies finish hiring for summer by November? If yes, what's a recommended time to start applications? And we'll have Kanhaiya and Valtina sharing their experiences.
Yeah.
Kanhaiya, do you wanna? Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Please go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. So I was just want to say that so for summer internship, it is. I know there is something that most companies finish, like they're saying like a lot of companies stop hiring by December, like the half year before that summer internship. But the truth is, I think mostly we just get to start to prepare your application in February and start to apply in March or April, and it should be okay for the timeline. And if you're lucky enough, you can get your job offer signed by the end of May. I think that is pretty good timeline. But keep in mind that there is never too late. That there are often like companies just constantly have those internship headcount open. Like for Tencent America, we just have I think around 2 or 3 internship open this month. Even it's already August. So if you're just not looking for summer internship, but overall you are looking for internship throughout the whole academic year, you can definitely check your dream companies, time by time, and just to check like if they have any new openings for internship. But if you are specifically looking for summer, I would say get started to prepare yourself at least by February and start to apply at least by March. So I think you should be on the right track.
Yeah, thank you, Valtina.
Hi. So what Valtina said right now, my journey kind of looked similar, but I would like to share some numbers with you so that everyone can get a sense of what your pace of application could be. So even I started sometime in Feb, but I started making my portfolio at that time, and it took me a while. It was probably by the end of March that I really started finishing my application, and then started finishing my portfolio and started applying for jobs. And probably throughout April I was applying. I might have applied for about 100 positions in total, all across LinkedIn, Handshake, wherever I could find. Out of those 100, only about 15 of them sent me a reply. And by reply, I mean both yes and no. So only 15 of them wrote back. Out of those 15, about 7 to 8 gave me a go ahead for an interview. So starting at 100, I ended up with like 7 to 8 interview calls. And out of those 7 to 8 interview calls, I ended up with 2 internships. And by 2 internships, I mean 2 offers. And thankfully, I was able to use one to negotiate with the other. So that was another good thing. But again, both my offers came in May. As far as this timeline of November goes, I haven't heard much about this, that you need to be so early for an internship that's next June. But definitely there are certain cycles. So if you are looking for, say, a job in tech versus looking for a job in media versus looking for a job in the finance industry, every company, every sector or industry has their own what do you call it, fiscal cycle. So some are Jan to December, the others are probably they start at June, some start in maybe April. So make sure that whatever sector you are targeting, you see when their financial cycle starts, because right at the start of the cycle they have a lot of budget, and that's when they really do a lot of hiring. So for tech companies, I've heard that they prefer hiring in like Jan to Feb. So that's definitely earlier than what Valtina said, or even when I got my internship. But if you are looking for something like that, maybe a university internship program that's very structured, from companies like say Amazon or Microsoft, maybe that's your calling. So you might as well get your applications in by Feb, so a couple of months earlier as compared. So that's just the other thing I would like to add.
Yeah, thank you, Kanhaiya. Especially for those
Alex,
numbers, I think.
I have one more thing to add. I'm so sorry. So just
Yeah, go ahead.
for all your information, that Comm Lead also send out weekly newsletters that include all different internship, part-time and full-time job opportunities that you definitely want to check that out. I think it's sent out every Monday. So definitely if you are looking for anything, I think you don't have to sign up. I think it will send out to all Comm Lead students, but correct me if I'm wrong.
So
yeah, I think cohort 21 has already been added to the mailing list to our newsletter. If you haven't received that, feel free to email Comm Lead or go to our website to subscribe the newsletter. Yeah, well, Tina, do you have anything else to add?
No, I'm good. I just want to make sure I mention about the newsletter because it's really useful. Definitely check that out.
Okay. Thank you both for your sharing. And I would recommend students to, talk with other fellow students and also alumni who work in the sector or even the company you are interested in, and you will get a lot more, useful information about whatever internship application cycle or even job hunting advices. Okay, let's move on to the next question about job hunting. What advice do you have for navigating the hiring or recruiting process for international students? Because some may say it's being said that many companies are reluctant to hire those needing a visa sponsorship. So we'll be hearing from Tongtong and Evelyne.
Thank you, Lexi. So for me, I think it's really case by case. It depends on the organization and also your job function sometimes. But I always recommend, and that's what I told myself, is always be patient and be honest and also be open-minded. So sometimes it's not saying that it's impossible that the company to sponsor you for the work visa. It's just the employer may never sponsor anyone before. They may not have the knowledge. So I think it's really important that we have the mindset that we need to educate the employer or maybe just the organization we interview with about our visa status and what will be like to sponsor us. Since for the work visa, the H-1B work visa, there's budget, there's knowledge, there's also need the professional to help you, so the legal team. So there's a lot of factors may impact, they make the decision whether to sponsor you or not. And also in the meantime, I'd say do not look down yourself. So although we are international students and there are a lot of things the employer need to pay off to hire us, but if you worth it, they will sponsor you. Or if they do not have the knowledge, but you educate them and tell them what they need to do, I think it's always negotiable. But some companies, they may not have the ability to sponsor you because the size of the company or some legal issues. So that's definitely, that's why I always encourage everyone to be honest at the beginning. So when you start the interview process or when you apply online, there were always a question to ask if you need sponsorship. And I totally understand some of the company may use that question to filter us. That's possible since I used to apply for some position and then like in 5 minutes, I got the rejection letter because I said yes. So that's possible. But I still encourage you to be honest because you do not want to waste people's time and also you do not want to waste yourself's time since you only have a year or two. So if they do not sponsor you, there's no possibility, just step away. But if you see there's potential and you can educate them and also you can also connect them with our school advisor. And I can also drop the link in the chat. There's an employer letter available on the ISS website. I use this to share with my employer in the past to help them understand what's the difference between CPT, OPT, and H-1B visa. So hopefully it will be helpful to you as well.
I second Tongtong about the being honest part because I heard from some of my friends who didn't be honest with the employer during the interview process, and then later on when they got the offer, it turns out they need sponsorship and the employer directly declined or took back the offer and then put them like freeze them and then they don't let them apply for that company in the future. So always be honest with our visa status. And what I did when I was applying for Remitly is that I told the HR in the beginning that I may need a sponsorship in the future, but I also explained the whole OPT process to them to inform them that I don't need sponsorship right now, but it's something we should keep in mind if they do want to hire me. And also another advice is to look for e-verify in companies. So for those kind of companies, they have the ability to sponsor people, but look, I'm not really sure if they can sponsor everyone, especially we're in marketing. For a lot of companies, they prefer to sponsor people in engineering, but that's something to keep in mind and to negotiate when you do get the offer. And also the last suggestion is to always prove that you have unique skill or professional skill set that makes you stand out. So for example, I speak more than 3 languages and I lived in different countries before. So for Remitly, we are a fintech company helping immigrants. So for me, I know more than other employees in the US about being an international student or the struggles being like having culture shocks every day. So I can definitely be the expert in these areas. So that makes me stand out when I was applying for the job at Remitly. So keep that in mind that we are international students. We do have visa restrictions, but we are working so hard to land a job in another country, and we are working so hard. So always stay positive, and it's okay that some companies reject you, but you can always shine in other places. So just a small advice.
Thank you, Tongtong. Thank you, Evelyne, for the positivity. Yeah, let's move on to the next part about life. Is there an in-person orientation in September? Is there a day you'd recommend international students to be on campus by? Liyao will share more about this.
Yeah, sure. So I guess everyone should have already received an email from Comm Lead saying that the format of our orientation, that most of our part will be online, but we're also planning some optional like in-person community gathering on Sunday, September 26th, and also in the following week, in the week of September 27th. But we understand there might always have some last minute change. So we always have a backup plan to make our networking gathering together online. So I would suggest everyone to keep an eye on the upcoming emails from Comm Lead in the next few weeks about our orientation. And if you have any questions, just feel free to reach out Jazz with our head of program affairs. And I will send his email address in the link shortly. And then regarding to, is there dates that you recommend international students to be on campus? So I asked our Assistant Director of Academic Affairs, Heather, and she says that international students are required to attend an embark orientation session. So you would need to arrive in Seattle in time to do so. So based on which day that you register for. So it looks like the last option for master's students is September 22nd for the orientation session. So 21st would be the very latest day that you could arrive. So that's only if like you register for the 22nd session. So I will put the information here for the orientation that you can see the link. Okay. Thank you, Lexi.
We got a quick question about the registration for the orientation. Yeah, do you have any information to share about that?
In-person orientation. I just shared the link. I mean, for Comm Lead, you don't need to register for the orientation. And then for the UJob orientation, I just put the link here. Here we go.
Oh, great. Thank you, Liyao. And I guess we'll be hearing more from Jazz about like the orientation and other event hosted by Comm Lead in the upcoming fall quarter. So stay tuned. Let's move on to the next question about the situation in Seattle. So our students are curious about how the situation now is in Seattle, and as they heard some news about the hatred towards Asian these days. Tongtong and Evelyne, do you want to share your what you see and what you thought?
So to be honest, in the past year and a half, I spent most time at home. So I really not sure how things are like in downtown area or how things like on campus. I've only been on campus for like twice in the past year and a half. But I say it's definitely in recovery stage. And as you may tell from the news, there are definitely up and downs for the number of cases, and different states, they have different level of policy about wearing masks, or like reopening strategies are different. And also the vaccination rate is also varied by state. If you have concern, I always suggest you wear a mask or make the best choice for yourself to feel comfortable. For example, if you do not feel comfortable gathering with a large group, it's totally fine. You can be honest to your friends, or I think also Comm Lead may also have options and no large gathering maybe till the end of the year, if that's still the plan. So, and also for like race issues is an ongoing issue. It may last for hundreds of years already. It being more significant during the past 2 years is definitely, I personally think, is there are some relations with the pandemic, because all the economy and unemployment and all different issues make the racist issue become more significant in the past 2 years. But no matter whether there's Asian hate or any campaigns or movement, I always recommend if you hang out in downtown area or in specific area around Seattle, make sure you have someone be with you, no matter it's daytime or in the evening. And I know we have a lot of evening classes, and for safety concerns, we have a night ride. So if you live around campus, you can definitely leverage those night ride. And if you are really worried about the situation, you can live near campus or always find someone to be with you. You can also decide not hang out in the evening for safe concern. And in Seattle, since the rainy season will start around October, so it's getting dark around 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. So just stay safe, but do not worry too much about some issues that you can never solve it, or it's beyond your knowledge or power. Yeah.
Also second Tongtong, I personally think it's not as bad as it was in the beginning of the pandemic, but I always carry pepper spray with me just in case. So if like anyone looks sketchy, I will just hold on to my pepper spray in case anything happens. Good thing that no one assaulted me yet. I don't know if that will happen, but I think generally people in Seattle are very mindful of everyone's comfort level in terms of the COVID situation. So if you don't feel comfortable going out, people totally understand. But if you do want to explore the city, right now, because of Delta variant, we are required to wear face masks indoor as well. So I think most of the stores are equipped with hand sanitizers, even face masks too. So if you are okay with going out, I think most of the stores do a good job on keeping you safe. And also people are also like keeping social distance. Sometimes they don't really get close to you. They also want to stay safe and stay healthy. So I personally don't find it very uncomfortable living in Seattle right now. And there are a lot of outdoor activities you can do, like water activities in different lakes, or go on hikes, and you can go farther in east to the places that are less people. So you can always explore different small towns if you do want to just get away from downtown Seattle. And in terms of Asian hate, in the beginning of the pandemic, I did have 2 friends encounter the assault. So there's a lady on the street just yelling at them, asking them to go back to their country and then like don't spread the virus. And it was just very heartbreaking to see that there's still disrespectful people in Seattle, but it's very rare case. But if you do encounter those situations, just stay away from any sketchy or weird people on the street. And then just like what Tongtong said, just try not to be in downtown or any sketchy area by yourself. And if you do happen to be in that situation, just try to call a 911 or a UW police, or just take an Uber and leave that place right away. But in general, I like walking around in Seattle by myself. I don't find anything like it's very scary to me, and I usually just avoid going to those areas. But overall, I think it's still a beautiful city to live in.
Thank you, Evelyne. Thank you, Tongtong. The second part of that question was, as the pandemic situation becomes worse now, will we still have classes together this semester, this quarter? So for that part, I can chime in to cover a bit. So all of you should have received an email from Ekin about the updates for autumn quarter. Definitely check that email if you haven't not. We don't have any details yet on exactly what the format of each class will be like, as Ekin mentioned in that email. So we'll be sharing that in early September, but all classes will be able to be taken remotely from for those who are unable to be in Seattle or on campus. And for more information about that, stay tuned on emails from both the university and the Comm Lead program. Okay, let's move on to the next question about student organization. So is there any recommended student orgs to join in while studying at UW, like sports, hiking, music, student groups? And Tongtong and Valtina will share on this.
Yeah, thank you, Lexi. So for me, I've spent 6 years at UW campus, but I still feel like there's a ton of different opportunities, organizations, and even buildings I've never been to before. So UW definitely has a huge campus. For me, the most familiar student organization as an international student would be like Phi Youths or UW Unite. So those student organizations have a lot of events, gathering events. So for example, Phi Youths might take you to Mountain Rainier, which is a famous sightseeing mountain in Seattle. And then they may also take you go shopping at some famous places, or take you to a small town around Seattle. So if you do not have a car, but you want to explore the city, Phi Youth is definitely a go-to place. And there are also some student-run organization. For example, student association. If it's safe to have booth on Red Square, so every quarter at the beginning of the quarter, they will hold a booth on campus, so you can explore different student organizations at Red Square. For like different interest group, there also, for example, if you enjoy dancing, so there are definitely clubs. For example, I know one of them called Step Up, STEPUP. So it's a student-run dancing club. And also, you can always check out UW Recreation. There are some classes schedules for fun or different interest groups there. And I think you can also check out Hub's website, UW Hub, HUB. They also have a list of registered student organization. So I would recommend you join a student organization that registered with UW. That's the most safest choice. And if you have the interest and you want to start a new group, that's also possible. You can double check with Jazz, or you can run through by UW officials, and they might also have funding for you to run different student activities as well.
Thank you, Tongtong. And I think Valtina have something to share with us about the Comm Lead consultancy, right?
Yeah, sure, definitely. I am so jealous of you guys who have been to the UW campus. I joined the UW program last fall. So for the last a year that I've been starting remotely. So if I have to recommend some organizations that for both on campus and remote students can join, that is a Comm Lead consultancy. Comm Lead Consultancy is a student organization. It was formed after the COVID-19 pandemic. As the pandemic has a huge hit to a lot of small business and nonprofit, that they have to change how they communicate with their audience to online platforms. And many small businesses, they really start at these transitions. So for us as communication professionals, that we are trying to help these organizations to make these transitions. So we as Comm Lead Consultancy, we held events and case studies every 3 or 4 times every quarter. And we also actively recruit volunteers, and we pair the volunteers with companies based on their expertise. So for example, if you are really good at web designing and you sign up for the volunteers, and we may pair you up with another organization that do need some help with their web design. So in that case, I think this is a great opportunity for you to apply what you learn from the classes to the real life cases. And also it's a great way to show your expertise. It's a great adding on to your portfolio. And also we have seen a lot of volunteers who has built a really strong and great relationship with the companies, and eventually they got an internship or full-time employee offers. So we have seen that cases also before. So I believe this is a great opportunity for the new students to explore, to also show up your expertise and to help those small businesses. And I believe Evelyne was actually the original member of the Comm Lead Consultancy, and we've been working in the team for a quarter. And anything you want to add on, Evelyne?
No, you covered most of it. Thank you, Valtina, for making the consultancy amazing till now. So thank you for all the great efforts you've done.
Yeah, thank you. And
Awesome.
we're really looking forward to all the new students to sign up for the volunteers and to really offering your help to those small businesses.
I would just add one more thing for Comm Lead. As I mentioned in chats, that we also have student ambassador program. And we always encourage international students to join our ambassador program to be a part of Comm Lead community representative. So you are the front face for Comm Lead to for our all different kinds of events, either for orientation or for graduation or for some information facing to prospective students. And also as a student ambassador, you will get free tickets for our signature events, which sometimes charge like $20 to $30. So just if you want to join us.
Thanks, Liyao. Okay, I think we are moving to our last question for all panelists. What did you find most challenging at UW Comm Lead as an international student, and how did you handle it? You want to start first?
I can go ahead. I guess the hardest or most challenging part is the language barrier and cultural difference, because sometimes when I was hanging out with domestic students here, I don't get the jokes they make sometimes, and then I find it a little bit awkward when all of them are laughing and I was the only one like look so confused. But that's also another way to learn the culture here. And how I manage to understand is that I'll just ask whenever I don't understand the joke. I will just ask them to explain to me, and luckily all my friends are very patient with me, and they will just Google or just explain the jokes or anything like cultural related things to me. And another thing is definitely life changes. So it's different from my hometown, and there's a lot of things to explore and learn in Seattle. And as an international student, you have to learn everything from scratch. And that's something, it just may not be as comfortable as you are used to back home. But to step out of comfort zone, you'll definitely have to go through some challenges, and some of them may not be pleasant, but it's another learning opportunity. And I had some problems before with job huntings or my social security or driver license, but you just ask people, and most of the people on campus or within Comm Lead program are really nice. So if you do have any questions, just reach out to anyone who you may not have the answer to. And I guess another thing is, like Tongtong mentioned, they have a lot of student organizations on campus. I joined Phi Youth as one of the facilitators, so I could just meet people from around the world and make friends, not just within Comm Lead, not just within my country, but also to other groups of people that I may not know. And I got a chance to meet people not within the communication area, but also in engineering, just to understand like broader knowledge of what people may go through in different fields. And the last thing is definitely you use networking events to meet more people, professionals in Comm Lead, because you never know when you will need a referral from anyone. So just chat with them, check in with them, and then meet friends, share what you know, and then ask any questions you may have to them. And I found it very helpful. For example, Kanhaiya and Tongtong have helped me a lot when I was still a student and they were alumni. And I got a lot of very useful tips from them, and I finally landed a job afterwards. So definitely just meet a lot of people, and then if you have any questions, just feel free to reach out any alumni, and I believe most of us are very friendly, so we are happy to help out.
Thank you, Evelyne.
Yeah, I can be next. So I personally think that it's not being an international student at Comm Lead program, it's just being a person in a new country might have challenges. I think UW Comm Lead has already do their best to support international students, which I feel very touching and grateful for that. I've been at UW for 6 years, and I've been in the same communication program for undergrad as well. So I think there definitely things are changing a lot and evolving a lot. So with there are more and more international students here, all the staff, faculty, and alumni, they become more aware of those international students' challenges and situation. And there's definitely more and more people are being very supportive. At least I think 99% of people I've met, no matter from undergrad or grad school, they are super nice, super supportive. And also just being alone in a new country or new city can be challenging. But I think we made the choice to leave everything behind us and move to a new country or city. That's us who made the decision. That's why we also need to be responsible for that. And sometimes language can be a challenge, or maybe culture. I still find that sometimes I cannot understand my coworker's joke. And also there are some slangs or urban English that I do not understand. And I will just ask and echo to Evelyne. You can just ask them and they will let you know, and you learn that, and next time you know the answer. And also I find that it's helpful is if you do not understand, you can smile. Sometimes smiling is appropriate, but sometimes it's not. So be conscious about that as well. And also I think it depends on your purpose here. If you just want to be here for a year or two, just enjoy the life. If you want to stay longer or work here or make a living here, I think you should start to think about your future as early as possible. I think one of the challenge being an international student in general is you need to think about too many different things, like your visa status, your academic life, your personal life, and also being alone here sometimes is difficult because of the pandemic. If you live alone, you may have nobody to talk to. So if you ever need someone to talk to, if you need any mental support, I think we are all here to support you. Just stay healthy, both mentally and physically.
Thank you, Tongtong.
I can go next. I mean, there are a lot of good things that both Evelyne and Tongtong said. And because this is a kind of, a serious question about challenges, I would like to address it in a different way. It's that, Comm Lead takes such good care of you. It's a Friday evening, or rather Friday night, and I'm here. And that can only mean one thing, is that I really like Comm Lead. So, they'll make sure that they support you, whatever the case be. I have spoken to all the professors. I've spoken to, the department in charge, everyone, whenever I had anything, either I was, job hunting, I had anything to do with some visa concerns. So each and everything you can like literally go, and Comm Lead helps you. They'll do as much as they can for you. The other part, not getting, certain cultural references and stuff, definitely that can be a bit hard to adjust. I would say, before you come, if you guys have time, watch The Simpsons, watch The Friends, watch The Family Guy, listen to all the 90s pop songs. I think that alone will do a good job of making sure that you get probably 90% of the jokes that these guys crack here. So if you like those things, you will enjoy it. Besides that, of course, there are certain challenges, but the fact that Seattle is, first of all, one of the most beautiful cities across the entire country, I think that helps in getting used to the place, pretty much quickly. And the second is that Seattle as a whole is a very liberal city. So certain challenges that, you will find probably somewhere in Texas or Florida, those kind of challenges don't exist to that degree in Seattle. So I think that's another good part about being at the University of Washington, and just generally being in Seattle.
Yeah, thank you, Kanhaiya. Valtina, anything to add?
Yeah, sure. So I totally agree with the other three panelists have mentioned that culture shock and language barrier is definitely a huge problem. And also, as Tongtong said before, I think as international students, we all have different purposes when we are taking this program. Some may just want to, take 1 or 2 years here, enjoy a different life, and also learn some communication skills and knowledges and come back to their own countries. I think that is definitely fine. Use the spell daytimes that Comm Lead has provided you, and just to explore the different lives in Seattle or even in the whole United States. However, I do know some students are more ambitious, that they would want to do more than just study as a full-time student. They would like to do a lot of internships. They would like to do a lot of work. They would like to have an offer secured before they graduated. I think that is totally understandable. But as an international student, you have to be really careful, because you don't want to overwhelm yourself too much, because international students has to keep a full-time student status every quarter, which means you have to take more than 10 credits every quarter. And that being said, it's already a lot of work. And also, if you would like to take another full-time internship, that is up to 40 hours per week, and that is going to be a lot. So which means both your daytime and nighttime is being fully used. So make sure you give yourself some time to breathe, to have a rest, to enjoy the sunshine that you really see in Seattle. Or just come here to California and join me. I would love to show you around California. Just make sure you give yourself some time to rest and don't overwhelm too much on yourself. After all, we will all find a way to accomplish what we want to do.
Yeah, thank you, Valtina. Great quote. I think we'll pause here and turn to anyone who has questions to ask. We've overrun a bit, but fortunately, I think we've been able to answer a lot of questions in the chat along the way. So we'll probably have the time for 1 or 2 more questions. Feel free to unmute yourself.
Hello, may I go with a question?
Yeah, sure. Please go ahead.
Okay, I actually received an email. It's about immunization. requirement that UW has. And I'm just wondering, because I've done my blood test, is still waiting for the results and whatnot. It's still because of COVID situation, it's taking a bit long. So let's say if I'm in the US and this requirement is not met, say by the first week of September, whatnot, is there the health center on campus where perhaps do they give this vaccinations for, this initial immunization if those vaccinations were not given when, I was a child, let's say, how does it typically work for, the initial immunization part?
Yeah, thank you for your question. I would probably share my experience on that, but for the panels in the feel free to chime in to anything, because I had the same question as you did. So as far as I know, when I checked the website of the immunization requirements and also UW clinic, they like the clinic now on campus is still open and but only for appointment, so they can still provide the vaccines that will help you meet the immunization requirement by the school. So when you arrive in the US, you will be able to get the vaccines, and if I think if you will not be able to meet the requirement by the deadline, there's also a way to either let the university know that you have a special situation that didn't allow you to do so, and waive some deadlines or postpone that according to your situation. And feel free to check out the immunization requirement on the website, and they have some updates regarding the COVID situation now.
Yeah, sorry, I don't familiar with this topic, but I see that Evelyne has added some comments there. I would say for any relevant questions about arriving on campus or this requirements, Heather will always the person, she knows UW policy or knows where to direct you to the right place. So definitely use Heather, and she's really good at response students' emails very quickly. Yeah.
Thank you.
I guess if we don't get another question, that's pretty much everything today. And thanks again for the student for asking those great questions, and let's also apply to the even greater answers by the panelists. Whatever the situation is or will be, I believe Comm Lead would like to always be there for international students, so don't hesitate to reach out. And thank you again for joining this session. Yeah, I guess I'll see
Sorry,
you this fall.
can I ask a quick one? I think it's related to someone just asked that. Do we need to quarantine when we come into the US? If we're fully vaccinated, let's say we're fully vaccinated for COVID-19 vaccines with 2 doses, then what happens when you come in? Do we have to quarantine for 14 days or 7 days? Is there anything like that?
So I do know one bit about this is that US has a watch list of certain countries that US categorizes as level 1, 2, 3, 4, I believe. There are certain countries in level 3 and 4 that are not allowed directly. So for example, India, I think, is still in level 3. So you can't come to US directly from India. You might have to come via a third country, which is like, say, Mexico. So that's what the situation is, at least for India. I'm not sure about the other countries.
What is there a link, Ken?
Yeah, let me find that.
Okay, all right, thank you. And how about the quarantine situation? Do you know anything about that? Any of you? Like for international students who are going to come in, let's say when we're planning to come in September 1st. So I'm just wondering, do we need to quarantine when we come in?
I'm not sure if this applies to everyone, but one of my friends came from Taiwan and she wasn't fully vaccinated and she had like the negative result ready, but the custom didn't check that proof either, and then they didn't even ask her to quarantine, so she was able to fly in directly without having to quarantine herself. But she did self-quarantine just in case that she didn't carry any virus and spread it to other people. But it's definitely optional. I don't see anyone being forced to do quarantine in the US, but I'm not sure if that's still the case.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
And I just
Yeah,
have.
it's always safe.
Oh, go ahead, Lexi.
No, go ahead. I was
Oh,
just gonna say that it's always safe to check the official news from like the CDC website or the news from the government, because situation varies about different countries, so you might need to check the specific requirements for your country.
Yeah. I'm just about to switch to another question. I see a lot of students are asking about on-campus job. So quick answer is number one, definitely check on our weekly newsletter, because we always have other departments on campus reach out to us because they're looking for some good candidates in marketing, in career development, and they know that Comm Lead has a good reputation. So when you are applying through when you're applying through the weekly newsletter and people know that you're from Comm Lead, and that's a plus for you. And another thing is when you're applying for other jobs, either on Handshake or just at UW, I would say definitely tailor your cover letter and your resume. You don't want to send over the same resume and cover letter to all the jobs, but make sure that only adds the relevance experience to your particular job. And also make your resume short, as just a one page, very clear, and same for the cover letter, just a one page. Make it clear, straightforward for recruiters. Yep. Hope this helps. We can talk more after the orientation in our workshops.
Yeah. So I guess we've kind of covered all the questions we have now. So
Thank you.
yeah, I guess let's call it a day. And thank you very much for joining us. And yeah, big thanks again to the panelists. And I'll look forward to meeting you in this fall. Thank you very much.
Thank you everyone for joining today. Thank you so much, Lexi, for organizing this wonderful event. And thank you to our panelists. Thank you, Ken, Evelyne, Tongtong, and Valtina. Thank you. We'll see you in September.